Have you ever envisioned a Spider-Man that's not afraid of using blades? Well, that's Kaine's Spider-Man for you. Kaine was a lab experiment gone wrong, a genetic clone of Peter Parker, the amazing Spider-Man, dying from the day he was created. Kaine lived a life of violence and villainy, which is what you're going to see in this video, him using blades, guns, and all that good stuff. But eventually Spider-Man cured him, giving him a second chance at life. Kaine now tries to live up to his legacy as the Scarlet Spider. Deciding to use his powers for good, deciding he even get tattoos. You can read about Kaine here. They even talk about how he has limited precognition. Well, technically all Spider-Man have limited precognition, right? Did you know Kaine's Spider-Man can talk to spiders? Imagine having an edgy type Spider-Man that got tattoos, but it's none of his business. He doesn't care type of Spider-Man. That's Kaine for you. He can talk to spiders from a very far range, too. Can even have the spiders free him if he's tied up. Yeah, come in handy, right? Spider-Man is a character that is no stranger to my channel. I have several videos about different spider people on the channel, so you need to check that out. One spider character I haven't went over, though, is this guy known as Kaine Parker, or some even dubbed the Scarlet Spider. He's a clone of Peter Parker, so when it comes to strength, you already know off the gate he has similar power to Spider-Man. When you think of Scarlet Spider, you might think of this look. He's had different looks and evolutions, like how he looks here. You can't be a spider-type character without having your run-in with spider-type characters like Rhino and beating them down. Takes on multiple spider-type characters at the same time. Even the Spider-Man clone gets taken out with one hit. He's no stranger to getting actual curb stomp wins on the real Spider-Man. Craven the Hunter's son tried to pull up on him. He gets curb stomped. You can kind of get an idea of how he compares to other Spider-Man by the fact he can break out of their webs pretty easily. He's one of those spider characters that went through a fair amount of character evolution and changes over the years. First base form, ended up changing his base form, ended up being like this, and ended up getting, guys know where I'm going with this, temporary power up, like I say in almost all my Marvel videos, but I'm gonna get into this later on in the vid when it comes to the Scarlet Spiders. Ben Reilly, another Spider-Man type character clone, stingers bounce off of him. Ginormous explosions don't cut it against him. Notice how he doesn't even attempt to dodge normal Spider-Man's attacks, because he's just that much stronger. Saying that should have took your head off. Multiple hits from characters like Rhino can't just get an easy win on him. Even attacks from Spider-Man characters like Electro ain't enough. Or an angry Spider-Man. It's pretty obvious that he's supposed to be around this tier. Fighting speed wise, he doesn't mind blitzing with a barrage of punches. Fighting speed can keep up with symbiote type characters like Carnage and even avoid their attack. Takes the time to avoid all of Doc Octopus's attacks, then just simply pulling up to him and murking him in the process. Strong Spider-Man villains like Hobgoblin he takes on, reacts to their attacks and everything. Bruh, all these villains fighting him at once, he deflects all of their attacks? Are you kidding me? Team busting spider tier character? He's just an unstoppable force at this point. But of course he wasn't always like this. He's at other states of time in this period, but he still seems to be ridiculously strong, to the point where even chains that were calibrated enough to hold beings far beyond the strength level of a Spider-Man character, he's still able to destroy these chains regardless. One hits Craven during the events with the Inheritors and stuff. They say that Kaine did most of the damage, they say, when it comes to attacks, than any other Spider-Man during all this mumbo jumbo with the Inheritors and stuff. The things that be going around the different universes to take out the different spider folk. I mean, he's the same guy that kicked Spider-Man. He quotes he can barely think after he getting kicked by Kaine. Stated, he's strong, stronger than me. How is that possible? It's like the writers wanted it to be like a common theme when it comes to the aspect of just pure strength. They want him to be on a certain level versus the real Spider-Man, if we're talking about a pure physical aspect. But of course, just because somebody's slightly stronger doesn't mean you still can't get a win on them here or there. You know what I mean? I mean, he's the guy where his body gets hit across metal and the metal shatters, so that you know how dense his bones and stuff are. When we're talking about the element of durability and etc. Fighting speed wise, he jumps over bullets after they're fired. Stated to be faster than Spider-Man, stronger too. In heated combat, think quick to reflex himself off the wall. Can think quick in life or death type of scenarios to save you. Fighting speed to catch arrows mid-flight, dodges Uzis in mid-air. He actually takes on another Spider-Man type character. Kaine at this time does not have spider sense while the other Spider-Man does, and they still able to fight on par when it comes to fighting speed, strength, and etc. With one could say Kaine having a handicap, even picking up a sword, the battle is still extended, despite him being an identical clone to the Peter Parker. You want to know how he fights against beings like Wolverine? Spider characters have the physical strength advantage, and one could say a slight speed advantage thanks to spider sense and everything, etc. when it's the Wolverine, using bladed items. All these members of the hand he takes on, you're going to need more than just ninjas to take him on. It's nap time for all you hand folks. Even if y'all all have automatic guns dressed up like Santa Claus, y'all get completely curb stomping and speed blitzed. It's just a common thing at this point. He has the standard stuff like web attacks and all that good stuff when it comes to Scarlet Spider. He also wears a stealth suit that Peter created. that has different modes, can regenerate itself from battle damage, depending on which suit he wears. Some of them have some flame resistance to some degree without being burned. Went invisible in this particular occasion to fight an alternate universe Johnny Storm, for Pete's sake, or simply goes invisible to take out multiple guards. Using stealth to get the jump on you in combat to get the jump on someone. Or assassinate multiple guards. Yeah, he's not afraid to get blood on his hands. Web constructs like something Spider-Man does, like bulletproof web shields. Marksmanship aim type stuff like hitting the muzzle of a gun with web from a distance. They can catch you faster than you can fall. One can say web is like an extension of Spider-Man's strength because the web itself can hold up a lot of weight, just like how Spider-Man can hold up a lot of weight, even a lot of debris. Do I even have to mention stuff like wall crawling, stickiness type of stuff? That's just a common Spider-Man theme. He can kind of burn you. The fact he can channel heat through his hands, even in older times of his career, enough to even hurt symbiote tiers like Carnage, is respectable. He would not hesitate to just straight up shoot you. He just ain't really trying to hear it. He's fast enough to where even though the bullets are in midair and he's not all the way on the other side of the bullets yet, he's fast enough to move the guy in the way of this before the bullets even make it to him. That's fast speed. It comes in handy when you can use the spiders to look around the city for a bomb. Like, do you know how many insects there is? Use them to search around the place. No matter what Spider-Man, they just have a habit of dodging bullets mid-flight. They pulled out a speedster, the teleporter, and a freaking zombie ninja. He's flattered at all the stops they're pulling out to take him on. Despite all this mess, he's still able to put in the work. Yes, he's not afraid to use swords. And his combat speed and stuff can still keep up with all this mess. Will make you go sleep time. When people try to take him on, they know it's best not to do a 1v1. Because it's stated individually, none of them would be a problem, not even the blondie with the guns or the half-naked guy with the wolf skin. Together, however, they're a bit complication. Despite all of this, he then proceeds on fighting multiple superpowered beings at the same time, being hit by lightning. How does he match up against the real heavy hitter symbiote characters like Venom? Since the fact that this Spider-Man's not afraid of using blades, he matches up pretty well. I don't know why he would pull out guns though, but yeah. So no matter what you look at it, he's still a Spider-Man type character. Look at a volley of punches on Venom and Venom counters, you know. And then you got to look at how he takes on characters like Carnage. Yes, he's a super solid Spider-Man type character. It's just understood at this point. If he wasn't in that symbiote Carnage range, why make all these panels, implying a super serious fight, even getting stabbed, showing his pain tolerance, and he's still fighting Carnage even more in strength and just not getting overwhelmed easily. It's like a high difficulty type of fight. And just because you decide to double team or jump him, it doesn't guarantee a win. I mean, why y'all ain't fighting him one-on-one? They must know they don't want that smoking on 1v1. Legit fair fight type of contest, don't they? Say it with me, just like every other character in Marvel, he has had the famous temporary power-ups. Yay! Something I go over my channel a lot because every character in Marvel has a temporary power-up at one point. Yeah, in this state, he's leagues above your standard Spider-Man class being. These werewolves tried to pull up on him as the other. They were no match for him as the other. When beforehand, like I showed you a little bit earlier, they was kind of a challenge for him teaming up like this. But like this, he's on a whole new level. Like this monster spider being, he takes on multiple inheritors. I mean, look how big he is compared to everyone. And the inheritors are beings that can take a lot of damage, like all of this BS, getting hit by all of that, and walk through all of that. Inheritors tanking missiles, y'all. Whenever he's in this other state, he seems to be vastly physically stronger than your standard spider tier character. Seems like every time he's transformed like this, he has a different type of look, but they all end up surprisingly looking pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of the spider armor suits and how they have extra arms and tentacles like Dr. Octopus, but instead he just got him on his back like a giant actual living spider. It's not something he can do just at will, but it was almost like his like Hulkish transformation split personality type thing, because when he would get like an extreme danger, extreme stress, he would just transform to this giant like man spider at will at times. But yeah, this is just like a temporary type of thing. It was almost like he could like do hybrid type stuff, like making spikes come out of his arms even when he's not all the way transformed. In this occasion, right here, they already implied that he was kind of above a standard Spider-Man tier character. And I shouldn't have to say this in every single Spider-Man video I make, but Spider-Man's able to tear open a safe vault, pull down a freaking building with his web, catches armored trucks, steel vaults he can punch through, 2 feet thick, stuff he can punch through. His webs can keep buildings from falling apart. Not to mention there's the argument that can be made that Spider-Man can lift 1,000 tons. While maybe it is true he can't lift the entire weight of the Daily Bugle, he was able to lift a decent chunk of the Daily Bugle or support the weight for a bit with just his raw physical strength until he could get support pillars to help support it and webs and etc. All in all, stuff like that. If you do a quick Google search on the possible weights on what the Daily Bugle could weigh, there's calculations that say it could weigh up to 500,000 tons. Even if you want to say, oh man, Spider-Man can't lift no 500,000 tons, look at the big chunk he's like supporting, y'all. Let's do some critical thinking right quick. We know he's probably not holding up the entire weight of the building, right? What if some of the support beams were helping and some of the buildings started tipping over and Spider-Man had to support that weight that was tipping over? So even if he didn't support the full 500,000 tons of the Daily Bugle, half of that is still 250,000 tons. But let's go even further. Let's say he only supported 1% of the weight of the Daily Bugle. 1% of 500,000 tons is still 5,000 tons. No matter how you look at it, he can support thousands of tons. And based on the scan, we know he had to lift more than 1% of this entire building. Even if it's not nowhere near the whole amount. 1%, 2%, 3%, regardless of what you think, it's still 1,000 tons. Just so he could get support beam to help support the building, he was supporting that portion of it. Just to give you a visual idea on how big everything was in comparison to this building. Based on angles like this, there's no way he only lifted 1%. Regardless of how you look at it, he had to at least lift thousands of tons. So even if a part of the building was being supported by pillars or support beams, he was lifting the supporting or the rest of the weight on this side. And considering how big this building is, just lifting 1% of it is still ridiculously impressive. And he supported some weight, of course, with the help of some of his web, which is like him supporting it still because his web is as strong as him. And it was a lot of web, you know, all that stuff in consideration. This is a rough estimation. There's no actual super good way to understand how much this crap weighs, but we just know it has to be thousands of tons. We know base Kaine's Parker Spider-Man is on par with the natural Spider-Man or better. And then he got like forms like this that are leagues above a spider tier, but all of this could be just me. Respect them. And I also got to give a shout out to those that took the time to donate to the channel. Hit a like on the channel if you enjoyed it. Check out those playlists. Hope you guys are enjoying yourself. Respect, Kaine Parker. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.